There are many different types of body paragraphs in an argumentative essay. The most predominant is the claim-based paragraph, and you have a lecture on that that follows this little link. But I just want you to be aware of different things that you can do. Again, we're talking about developing body paragraphs in an argumentative academic essay. And I've kind of divided up into 4 separate types here for you. So claim-based, and again, lecture right after this, the link is following this one. All of these paragraphs are going to be on an average of about 8 to 12 sentences in length. You can stretch them to 14 if you need to. If they get beyond that, I would definitely find a natural place to break just for the reader's attention span. So maximum 14, let's say. Claim-based, second type would be extended definition paragraphs. So this is a typical body paragraph that might begin the body. If you're writing your stakes and you have some difficult definitions that you need to put forth and they require elaboration, it's perfectly acceptable to kind of lump the background and definitions into the first overall body paragraph before you give a claim-based paragraph. It's just, here's the background for the reader, and then you start defending your position. Now, this typically happens at the beginning of a body, but it can happen anywhere if you need to put forth terms as a foundation for an argument. Right, you can also do what are called extended reasoning paragraphs. Again, these are just thematic ideas about paragraphs. So reasoning refers to claim support reasoning format. If your reasoning, which elaborates your claim, becomes long and you really want to add to it and develop your thinking, and you should, just do it all in a separate body paragraph. If you're writing deductively and the reasoning ends the paragraph and you realize that you just have to keep going, well, just press indent and continue reasoning in the next paragraph and give as much as you can. And then finally, although it's not necessary, you can create a separate counter-argument body paragraph. And in this one, the idea would be to state the opposition's ideas, state their position as it is opposed to yours, refute their position, okay? In other words, destroy it by explain what it's wrong, and that explain why it's wrong, and that process can be done in its own separate body paragraph. Now, there is another way to do that, which would be way number 5. A lot of times writers decide to deal with counter-arguments by attaching them to claim-based paragraphs. Perfectly acceptable, perfectly natural. If you feel like a claim and a counter-argument are really linked together, then just deal with them together in the same paragraph. So you can do a combination of numbers 1 and 4 to develop a body paragraph. And again, guideline, if you get to 14 sentences or so, cut it off and just indent and continue on with either your defense of your claim or your refutation of the counter-argument. We're going to move on to counter-argument shortly, but let me just say this. Your essay has to have one. Your essay has to have ethos, pathos, and logos. It has to have a counter-argument. It only has to have one, but a lot of times you have to deal with more. In the case of your first essay in which you're dealing with the media, you really have 4 implied counter-arguments. You have a minimum of 5 sources. One of them you're choosing to be the best. The other 4 are not as good. So you're going to have to develop at least 4 points where you explain why Article B is weaker than Article A. Right? Just keep that in mind for your first essay. You have 4 implied counter-arguments. Some people say that MSNBC might have covered Prince's death better than CNN, but they're wrong, right? So you need to do that for each article with which you're dealing. All right, so these are your 5 different types of body paragraphs then. 4 plus a combination of 1 and 4. Every paragraph should have a very specific function. Know what your function is. The large majority of your body paragraphs will be claim-based paragraphs. Those are going to be the most important. It is possible to do a whole essay which is based around counter-arguments. I am open to anything that you want to do. If your whole essay is developed around refuting the opposition's ideas point by point, you can do it. So these are suggestions. They are not absolutes in your writing. I don't like absolutes. I want you to make this yours and make it natural. Just know what you're doing structurally before you get into it. All right, so one more lecture to go. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we will see you later.